Welcome to the introduction to yaqc-cmds. Yaqc-cmds is a client within the YAC ecosystem, primarily targeted towards applications in coherent multidimensional spectroscopy, or CMDS. Here on my system, you can see that I have a lot of running daemons, primarily of fake origin, which my system can connect to. yaqc-cmds uses a TOML configuration file that can be accessed using yaqc-cmds edit-config. And this is where you can set up what YAC daemons you connect to, whether that's a sensor or settable hardware, something simple like a delay, or something more complex like an OPA. There's also settings for what acquisition modules you have loaded. So a n-dimensional scan is the most basic one, but we also have ones that are parameterized for more specific tuning use cases. So to run yaqc-cmds, you just use the entry point yaqc-cmds. And it will start up. So a quick tour. First thing you want to look at is along the left-hand side here is where you see all of the hardware that your system knows about. You can use this to set the position of a particular hardware. As well as to view where it is currently. You can change the units, so whether that's you want to look in wave numbers or nanometers. Or for a delay, you might want to look at it in millimeters versus picoseconds or femtoseconds. Each of these has an advanced option, which provides some additional settings and information about the particular hardware. So for a delay, that might be the 0 position, which I can change from 25 millimeters to, say, 30 millimeters, and see that my position updates as soon as I do that, because I changed where 0 was. If you have multiple of the same kind of hardware, they show up as tabs up here. Some things have much more complicated advanced menus, such as this OPA, which allows you to see the tuning curve. In this case, it's a fake OPA, so it has just a nice cosine wave here. But I can also set individual motors within an OPA to a particular position. And my plot updates accordingly. The next tab that we have up here is the autonomic system. This is a system which allows us to offset a particular hardware based on the current position of another piece of hardware. It's used most commonly for spectral delay correction. It's an advanced feature that I'm not going to get into too much detail here. The heart of the yaqc-cmds experience is the queue. So I can make a new queue here. And if I want to enqueue any multidimensional scan, I can do so using the panel on the right-hand side. So for instance, if I wish to scan omega 1 from 1500 to 1200 wave numbers, I can do that. Note that when I just appended it to the queue, it did not start running immediately. That's because my queue itself is not running. So I can enqueue multiple scans. For instance, if I wish to do a delay scan where I scan both delays together, I can do that as well. And when I hit run queue, it will run these sequentially. While they're running, you can watch the data come in at the plot tab, and you can change things about how it's displayed, such as the units of the x-axis, and if you have multiple axes, you can change which axis you're viewing along. I can also do a two-dimensional scan. So for instance, scanning D1 on the outer axis and D2 on the inner axis. I can do that. And it will do a two-dimensional, and I can add arbitrary number of dimensions. So now you can see that D2 is moving much faster than D1. And I can play around with the plot. As data is collected, it's all stored, and we get the automatically generated plots of the data that was collected as these nice PNGs. And once this scan is done in about 10 seconds, okay. Once the scan has completed, which will happen shortly, we'll also be able to see the PNG that was automatically created. And automatically plotted. This sensor is just random data, so it's not a particularly interesting plot, but it's made automatically for us. Yeah, if I want to run a scan that's either the same or similar to one that I've already run, I can click the load button and it will automatically populate this right-hand column with that information. And I can change things, like for instance, if I wish to set my monochromator to track, say, the 10th order of my fundamental from my OPA, I can do that by saying 10 times omega 1. And if you watch, then both of these will scan together. One 10 times the other. And that is yaqc-cmds. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more, you can visit us at yaqc-cmds.write.tools or at yak.fyi.